During World War II, Germany came up with some truly audacious plans. But one of the wildest, one of the most complex, wasn't about a new superweapon or a massive tank. Nope. It was a surgical strike, aimed at one single spot on the map. A spot that, if hit, could have paralyzed the entire Allied war effort. So let's dive into this incredible, little-known story, Operation Pelikan. And that metaphor you see there, that's not an exaggeration. It's pretty much the perfect way to describe how Nazi strategists saw the Panama Canal. This wasn't about causing a nuisance. The plan was designed to be a single decisive blow that would completely sever a vital artery for the entire world. To really get this, we've got to go back to 1943. Germany is getting desperate. The U-boat war is raging. But they need something more, something big. And so they pinpoint the Panama Canal as this critical choke point. I mean, it was absolutely essential for the U.S. to move warships and supplies between the Atlantic and Pacific. Taking it out, well, that would be a total game changer.
And so Operation Pelikan was born. You might also see it called Project 14, but this was no simple bombing run. Oh no, this was a masterpiece of logistics and espionage, something cooked up out of sheer desperation and designed for maximum impact. It was a huge, huge gamble.
Okay, get this. The plan itself was just wild. It was this insane three-step process. First, you've got to sneak U-boats all the way across the Atlantic, and they're carrying dismantled airplanes. Then you land on some remote island, secretly put these Stuka dive bombers together right under the enemy's nose, and finally, you fry them in, hit a tiny specific target, and somehow get away. I mean, the number of things that had to go perfectly right is just staggering.
But here's the truly brilliant part of the plan. It wasn't just how they were going to attack, it was what they were going to attack. The Nazis didn't plan on just dropping bombs anywhere. They had found the canal's Achilles heel, a single point of failure that would bring the entire system crashing down.
And that brings us to the core question of this whole operation. The Panama Canal has a few sets of locks, right? You've got the Miraflores and Pedro Miguel locks over on the Pacific side. So why focus every single resource, this entire incredibly risky plan, on hitting the Gatún locks on the Atlantic side? And this right here, this explains everything. Hitting the Pacific locks, yeah, that would have been a major problem, for sure. A huge inconvenience. But the canal might have stayed at least partly open. But attacking the Gatún locks, that was the kill shot. It wouldn't just damage the canal, it would paralyze the entire system. Why? Because it would drain the very lake that makes the whole thing work. It's the difference between trimming a few branches and just ripping the tree out by its roots.
So what's this critical piece? It's Gatún Lake. And here's the thing, it's not even a natural lake. It's a massive man-made reservoir created by the Gatún Dam. It is, quite literally, the heart of the canal. It holds all the water, 26 meters above sea level, that acts as a giant water elevator, lifting and lowering ships. No lake, no canal. It's that simple.
Let that number sink in for a minute. 26 meters. That's about the height of an 8-story building. That is how high the Gatún locks lift gigantic warships and cargo ships. And all that lifting power comes from the water held back by one single dam. You destroy the dam, the water's gone, and that elevator is broken for good.
You know, a canal engineer at the time said it all. It's a perfect quote. The German plan was just elegant in how lethal it was. They weren't just attacking a building. They were going for the heart, trying to stop the flow of that aquatic blood that coursed through the arteries of global trade and war. So let's just imagine for a second that they pulled it off. What would a world without the Panama Canal have actually looked like in 1943? Well, it would have set off this catastrophic domino effect that would have rippled across the entire globe. Just look at the hard numbers. Getting from New York to San Francisco goes from about 5,200 nautical miles to a monstrous 13,200 miles because you have to go all the way around the tip of South America. That's an extra 8,000 miles. For a trip from England to Japan, it's pretty much the same story. This isn't just an inconvenience. This is a logistical nightmare. We're talking weeks of extra time, fuel, and putting lives at risk. This chart just hammers the point home. I mean, look at that jump. A 254% increase in distance for a vital American route. Can you imagine trying to fight a two-ocean war when it takes nearly 3 times as long just to move your fleet from one coast to the other? The impact on the war in the Pacific would have been absolutely devastating. So this leads us to the final and frankly the biggest mystery of Operation Pelikan. You have this meticulous, brilliant, strategic plan. It's on the brink of launching, and then November 1943, it's just canceled. Why? This timeline really gives us the context we need. See, while this plan was being put together, the war at sea was changing, and fast. By the middle of 1943, the Allies were getting way, way better at hunting and sinking German U-boats. The so-called wolf packs were now the ones being hunted, and Germany's position was getting weaker by the day. So while there isn't one single confirmed reason, the leading theories all point to a pretty grim reality for Germany. They were losing the Battle of the Atlantic, and they just couldn't afford to risk precious U-boats on such a long-shot mission. Not only that, but the specialized people and planes needed for the job were desperately needed elsewhere. And of course, you can never rule out the possibility that Allied spies had gotten wind of the plot, making the whole thing just too risky. And just like that, Operation Pelikan was put on a shelf, becoming one of history's most fascinating what-ifs. It's a testament to incredible strategic thinking, but it's also a chilling reminder of how close the world came to a crisis that could have completely changed the outcome of the war. A naval historian summed it up perfectly. This wasn't just a military plan. If it had succeeded, it would have fundamentally redrawn the map of global commerce. It would have shattered, in his words, the architecture itself of world trade. Just think about that for a second. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? The story of Operation Pelikan is more than just a historical curiosity. It's a powerful reminder of just how fragile our interconnected world really is. It forces you to ask, almost 80 years later, what are the single points of failure in our modern supply chains? What are our Gatún dams today?